because of the amount of people that have seen those clips, that one and the one on the bus, they assume that those are skits made
right.
for thing. And for some reason, Channel 4 has not put the show on their 40D, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're using it to advertise the channel, but they're not actually putting the series. So people keep looking at these clips, thinking that there's going to be more clips somewhere.
Assalamu alaikum everybody and welcome to another episode of MarocafellaTV. I'm your host T.
It's your girl Loubs, welcome back.
That's his favourite Hisham.
Yes everybody! Boom. What's happening, Loubs? You good?
I'm good.
Yeah, Hish, you good?
Forget about me. Just
Yeah, you want to get straight into it, yeah?
into it.
Loubs?
Yeah, well, let's get into it. We are super honoured to have the BAFTA-nominated actor Youssef Kerkour. You may have seen him in House of Gucci, TV series Home, and up-and-coming Knights of Seven Kingdoms, the prequel to Game of Thrones.
Yep.
What a big day today.
Big day, yeah.
Whoa. Welcome, Youssef. Welcome. مرحبا بك عنا أخي. فين هو ياك؟ How you doing, my brother?
Alhamdulillah, khoya. Very, very good to be here.
مرحبا بك عنا.
I'm such a fan of the show.
Thank you very much.
We are such fans of you and your incredible work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So how we all start. We normally start with where you from and where you're born, bro.
Yeah, I'm born في البلاد مغربي ترقي وحقي. I was born in Rabat.
Oh, we got another Rabati on there. Another Rabati. MashaAllah.
My family's from Oujda, احنا وجادة.
Okay.
But my dad moved to Rabat a while back. My mother's English. She moved to Morocco in early 70s.
Wow.
And she stayed there ever since. And that's it. Yeah, born and raised in Rabat. When I was 18, I went to the American school in Rabat. Started in the French system, moved to the American system because it was free, because my mum taught there. And then at 18, I left Morocco for the first time, moved to New York, lived in New York. Yeah,
Amazing.
and it kind of went all the way around.
So what was it like growing up in Morocco?
It was fantastic. I mean, I grew up under Hassan Tani. It was a very different Morocco than it is today, but both just an incredible time of the country is developing and growing, you know, as we all grew up, and so it was really, really wonderful thinking about it, you know. And, you know, you remember those days. It was very, very special, you know. It still is. It gives you this, you know, to have that cultural heritage, which is very specific to our country. I didn't realize growing up is how much that would help me in life going forward. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just the ability to chameleonize yourself as well. That alone was, you know, that thing we've got it inbuilt in us, you know. And it was really, really special. Yeah, I loved it. I'm passionate Moroccan, as you know, upbringing's had a lot to do with that.
Did you do much acting as a youngster in Morocco?
Yeah, I did. I was always acting. I never wanted to be an actor. I always used to say that's the last thing I want to be. Is, you know, but that's all I did, and. Clearly, I had some sort of psychological block, but I was in all the school plays. I was in all the community thing. I just did a lot of it. And when I got to uni, I said I wanted to study, which is why I went to New York. Went to uni. I said I wanted to study psychology. Okay. Right. I took Psych 101. They gave me a mentor, a guy named Frank OJ, and I didn't go to any class for the first year. And he called me at the end, he went, look, he said, let me see the classes you chose. It was all dance, theatre, this, mask. It was all acting stuff. And he went, okay, look, I'm a psychiatrist. I'm just going to tell you my professional opinion. You're an actor. And you need to make that decision now. And I'm not going to fail you. I'm just going to write M, which means missing.
Wow.
That was it. He did me that, so I'll never forget that. Just because of him, I was like, okay, fine, I'll be an actor. And then I had to work up the courage to tell my dad, which is another thing.
Yeah, and how was that?
Man, you know, like I said, growing up in Morocco is very different today than it was then. Like, you want to be an actor today, and everybody's an actor today. Yeah. You know, everybody's a filmmaker. When I was starting out, you did not want to be an actor. Like, it was the last thing in the world. And I told my dad, and he was taking a sip of coffee, and I said, I'm gonna major like I'm gonna read, you know, for a degree. I'm gonna major in theatre. And he went, rock. Stop halfway.
Pause.
I remember he paused halfway, and he was. Eventually, he was very supportive. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. But I'm sure it gave them a lot of stress and a lot of everybody wants their kids to eat.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you mentioned growing up in Morocco, and you said your mum's English, right?
That's right.
And she spent a lot of her time there.
That's it. Yeah, she's been in Morocco. She speaks Darija and
Wow.
certainly understands Darija very well. She's sort of been able to culturally assimilate. Yeah, she's seen Morocco from then today, and it's and also we don't talk a lot about the expat community in Morocco, which is very particular. And when the people I grew up with, just yesterday, I met up again with a friend of mine that was there, and I found out she was only there for 3 years with us in that community. And tabarakallah, she wrote a whole book about her time in Morocco. Do you know what I mean? Like they come to Morocco, and then yes, they're part of the expat community and the people that work in the embassies and the international school systems and all that stuff, but they're also totally embedded in the society. They embrace the culture. They still know Darija. They still know the little bits. There's the osmosis that happens with visitors and the country itself is very, very special. And you know it when you talk to people who go to Morocco. Yeah. If they say, "Oh, I hated it. I had a bad experience," immediately you know what kind of person that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're like, I know who you are. I know who you are. But if they come back and they're like, "Oh, it's such a magical country," like, "Yep, you got it." Like now you know. You're okay with me. But if you come back and you had a hard time and you go, "What?" Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of people that.
So we touched on mixed marriages a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch that one?
I did. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, being a product of mixed marriage? And
if my parents ever had any problems with that, I never saw it, and they never talked about it. Alhamdulillah. And if I'm completely honest, I know a Morocco that is very outward looking. Everybody I know is looking outwards. And when I grew up, you grew up wanting to leave. Yeah. It was always the world outside Morocco. So marrying somebody from outside Morocco was seen as he's done it, or she's done it.
He's the first step now. He's going to be leaving soon.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. And now, of course, it's going in the other direction, because it's our country is just doing very well, and that pull back, that sort of desire to return, I don't think necessitates just staying. Now, I say this because of your app. I went and started digging a little deeper on social media, and it's true.
That's what we wanted.
There's a lot of people that comment on, "Oh, you should have kept it within the culture," and all this stuff. I gotta say, that's new to me. It's not something I associate with my generation, and it might be a product of like this new social media tied generation that's coming up, that is picking up values that make sense on paper, but that in practice for the country and what we're like, it makes sense in theory. Of course it does. ولكن أصعب نفس البلد ديالنا كي داير. It's a طاجين. It's always been a طاجين. That's what it's all about. It's always been mixed.
I always say this.
Very true.
غير بيناتنا في المغرب. الشلحة مع it's. I think it's that's what we've always been about.
What was it like for you growing up in Morocco as having an English parent? Because it's like Neeya, we used to having half. You're in England, but to have it in Morocco and have the actual parent living there, it's like, what was it like you having an English mum and living in Morocco? Was it accepted? Was you kind of?
Yeah, I think it's
a new school thing.
It's like it's a Western consideration. The idea that you've mixed, and therefore it might cause problems. Back then, it was like, no, he's married. He's married.
But for you as a child, did you get stressed out from the Dredi?
So here's where. So I'll try to explain what I'm saying here is, I didn't get any of that.
Right.
Any overt stuff.
Right.
What I do carry with me is the not the covert stuff, but it's the stuff that makes up your psychology as somebody who is from a mixed heritage. See, you say mixed heritage. When you ask me who I am, I say I'm Moroccan. 100%. Everybody knows me as a Moroccan. I've got a British passport, I've got a British mum. I can put on the accent. I can also put on the American accent. Like, I grew up with Americans. This is my actual accent. So everything's a mix.
So which one?
Everything's.
We'll get there at the end.
We'll get there in the end. Exactly. Have a bit more ete and then all stuff to come up.
But I think your question to him, did people know when you were growing up? Well, when you were born there, so you spoke the language, you could pass for Morocco, you're Moroccan passing. So
this is the thing.
Unless you said, they wouldn't know.
I'm not 100% Moroccan passing, especially when I didn't have the beard.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm not Moroccan enough for Morocco, and I'm not English enough for England. And you get this thing, this concept called third culture. Have you heard of this? Third culture kids? Yep. You've read that book? It's a very great book about this stuff. But there's a lot of people that find themselves in this in-between place. And that has happened sometimes. I grew the beard out so I could be more Arab in order for me to work here. Okay. And ironically, that made me look more Moroccan when I went back home.
Okay.
And certainly, like here, it doesn't matter what I look like. You get into a taxi in Paris or wherever, and they look at you and they're like, "You're Arab. You're Moroccan, aren't you?" Yeah. Like people can see it if they know it. Yeah. But in terms of like any people saying anything to me or anything like that, I never had that. But I have carried this thing sometimes of like, do I quite fit in? Do I not? Like, what price am I going to be charged when I go to Medina? He hears my derija and he looks at me and he wants to charge me more, but he hears me. Khayef, and they don't quite place. And certainly here in England, I can't pass completely. I have to really code switch and really lay it on thick, with the accent and the non-verbal cues and all that stuff to really sort of fit in. Because from looking, people don't. And I talk a lot with my hands, and I have mannerisms that are Moroccan.
Arab mannerisms.
Yeah, mannerisms that they pick up, and it's things like that in Morocco, if I'm not doing it, I wouldn't notice. There's a lot that I was sheltered from because of that, being with the expat community, having this bifurcation in the family. My parents speak to each other in French. There's a lot of Frenchness that I learnt, And a lot of times, somebody in Morocco will be like, no, we don't do that, man. We do it. And it's like, no, I didn't know. I never knew that. So there are things that I have to admit that I've missed, and maybe it's because of my heritage, but maybe it's just because of where I went to school. I don't know.
It's really interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course, my pleasure.
Can we get into, what did you find the major differences were when you studied in Morocco? You said you went to American school. So the transition to going into New York shouldn't have been that different, or how did you find?
It's funny because I left when I was 18, which meant I knew everything about America, but I'd never been there or seen it or knew anything about it. So I knew what a 7-Eleven was. I knew what a Big Gulp was. I knew all these things that I'd picked up, but to actually see a 7-Eleven and be there and stuff, it was massive culture shock. Bigger culture shock going from America to England.
Oh, really?
Much bigger.
Is that because you used to watch movies as well? Is that like all the American films?
England, I knew about it. I would come over for the summer and all that stuff. But the way British society functions, I was not prepared for that.
Very different to America.
Very different from America.
Am I right in saying Morocco is very similar to America more than it is?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, especially because it's a melt. Like I was in New York, and New York's a melting pot. And in America, your difference is celebrated. As Riz Ahmed says, because the country is very segregated for real, so they project this integrated image. But in on the coasts, you get this very, very integrated and mixed society where your difference is very valuable, especially as an actor. Yeah. So if you have a little way of talking or some mannerisms about you that make you slightly different from the norm, they love that. And then they want to magnify that. In England, it's the opposite. They see that and they go, no, you got to work on that. You got to take it away, turn it down, erase it. And they try and get you to a neutral level, which is why so many people not from England struggle when they're here. Like my brother still has an American accent, and it can be a struggle in England. I can put on the English, you've got to sound right.
The accent, it's all in the accent,
the mannerisms, everything. So that's what I mean. So going to New York, Yeah, because I always say I went to America, and that's the difference. It's actually I went to New York, so that jump was okay. It's a big city, you can blend in. It was wonderful. The school I went to, the uni I went to, was fantastic, and really great place to train. I got all my training there. Working as an actor in New York City is tough, you know. I did all those old school auditions and everything. So by the time I got to England, I was professionally ready.
You're seasoned.
Yeah, but I had no friends. No one wants to talk to you. And if you don't go to school with people here, khalas, you know, it's no chance.
Did you start off in New York sort of in stage theatre, or did you do more like straight onto camera?
In New York, I worked in the independent film scene in Brooklyn. And the infrastructure in New York, the creative sector is made for you to work. زعما إذا بغينا نديرو شي فيلم حنا this weekend, it's possible. You can get a grant really quickly, and you find a company. They're your umbrella company. You get a 501c3 non-profit thing, and it all happens. It's made for people with not much money. Just want to get their stuff together and make it. You can find equipment. You can find a place. You can go into a restaurant and say, "Hey, we're shooting a film here. Do you have a space at the back?" Yeah, we'll get you space at the back. Just let us charge people.
They encourage it then, really.
They encourage it. Everything is there. It's made for it. And nobody's getting paid, and everybody knows nobody's getting paid. So nobody's going to make any money, but you're working all the time. So by the time I got to England, in 2.5 years, alhamdulillah, I did something like 22 or 26 plays.
Wow.
And I made about, I don't know, good over half dozen, maybe nine movies. Shot 9 movies, and then made 2 movies, and wrote 3 screenplays.
Wow.
Amazing.
Well, it's huge. It's just like
Space of 2 years.
It's basically because everybody's doing that.
That deserves a round of applause.
Yeah.
It's really
Nice.
impressive.
Thanks.
At such a young age as well.
I made zero money.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
This was the point where you were honing on your
But
craft.
this is the thing. But then you come to England and you want to do that, and the infrastructure is not there. You want to make a movie, you need the insurance, you need this, you need that, you need that. But once you do it, you have a salary, you get money. Your friends in New York are going, what? How you're making money? How are you making money? You know.
So England's the hard place to break into then.
England's hard. Yeah, it's hard because it's the systems here are in place, and you need to fit to the system. It doesn't care about your creativity or what your ideas are. There are systems in place that you need to, and that if you're English, you understand it, and you're able to work with it. But if you're arriving here, or if you're just starting out, it's hard. It's really, really hard. You have to find your way in. That's a whole.
Just learn a lot of patience with the English.
Which one did you prefer? The creative side, no reward.
In the beginning, I was just desperate to get back to New York.
Okay.
Because I felt so artistically free. I felt like a free bird. But I lived a decrepit life. I had no money. I had no place to stay. I was sleeping on floors. And after a while,
Like the typical actor story, isn't
exactly, yeah. And but you expect that. But alhamdulillah, in England gave me my career. You know, Allah gave me my career, of course. But England is where I was able to do what I wanted to do because I could afford to. I could make a living, you know. And I did more work for America when I came here than I did over there. You know, Hollywood movies and all that stuff. I've done them by being here, and a lot of my friends that stayed out there are part of the big pool of people who are trying to work. You know, that's why I say everybody who wants to go to LA and all that stuff. I say you want to work in Hollywood, leave Hollywood. You know, even if you go next door, go to Portland, Oregon, or something like that. They'll come to you. You know.
So what was your first role when you came to this country? What was your first gig?
My first gig was I played a skeleton in a school. There's a school in Peckham that did this a Christmas show of like 2 skeletons. I played Big Bones.
The Bone Family. I think. Yeah. It's like an old book, isn't it? It's an old book.
That old book. Yeah. They did all the suits and everything, and it was called. I think it was. I forget what it was called. Magic Eye Theatre or something. It was like a theatre club for a school in Peckham, and that was my first one. And then I worked advertising, and that was like singing and dancing about cheese in supermarkets and things like that.
How old was you then when you got these?
23 or something. And for me, it was like acting work. That was real acting work. That was really poncy. Like I tell this, no, I haven't told this story before really. I'll tell you. My first audition, it was for a panto. And I'd never heard of a panto before. I didn't know what it was. Do you know what panto is?
Pantomime.
It's pantomime, right? You know what it is?
Yeah.
So
It's like a play, right?
it's like a play, but there's a...
Oh, no, you don't.
Voila, yeah, that's it, yeah. So it's all that,
yes,
you know?
yeah.
It comes, it's for kids. He comes
Behind
out
you
he
and all of
goes,
that, yeah.
What should can I pick this up, kids? Yeah. So it's all that stuff. I had no idea. I thought Panto was the name of the guy.
Oh, man.
Okay? And then I was right up, you know, I was in New York and cerebral, and we're talking about Meyerhold and this and arguing about Grotowski till 4 a.m. And so I came and I got this audition, and this guy who wanted to take me on as a client, it was an agency and they wanted money, and you never go with an agency that wants you to pay. So I ignored it, but then he called me up and said, I got you an audition tomorrow for a panto. You've done panto? And I thought it was like, you've done Shakespeare? You've done Chekhov? You've done panto? I was like, yeah, I've done panto. Of course I've done panto. Well, but you always say yes.
Always say yes.
And I had this monologue of a fox. It's somebody called Fox. And he's talking about a box and can he pick it up? And kids. And the lines were like, you know, kids, oh, kids, can I pick it up? Should I pick it up? And I spent all night and I went deep. I went like dark. I was like, this guy is having a nervous breakdown. He's seeing his dead children, all this stuff. Oh, wow. And I went in there full Brando on this. It's one of the first auditions I had. Oh, I think you know, oh kids, can I pick up the? And they were like that. They're like, have you done panto before? I'm like, yes, I've done panto. They're like, you're not really English, are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm English. They're like, where have you done panto before? Like, I did it in New York.
And they don't have panto in New York, do they?
No, absolutely not.
It's a very English thing.
It's a very English thing. I didn't know what it was.
It's like a Christmassy thing, isn't it? It's always around the Christmas time.
Yeah. I would have been great, but...
It was just too dark.
Too.
Should we pour some tea?
Yeah, pour some tea.
Let's have some tea. All right, so Youssef, what would you say your breakthrough role was?
My breakthrough was definitely playing Sammy in Home for Channel 4. That was definitely my role. It's a long roundabout way of answering your question. I did mainly, when I came to England, I did about 15 years of theatre. Did regional theatre, touring theatre. I've seen most of the UK. Half the country knows me as Joseph, because every time I said Youssef, they wouldn't let me stay in their digs.
Wow.
Yeah. I got loads of stories. I saw actors have seen it with their own eyes.
Wow.
Calling somebody up and you know, we're going to be coming to your area. Because, you know, when you get a job at a theatre, they send you a list of all the people who are willing to put actors up in their homes. Because the hotel, you know, they'll give you 100 quid for your touring allowance. And a hotel is 70 quid a night. So that 100 quid, how are you going to do it? So you got to stay in somebody's house in their room. And then they charge you 20 quid or something.
That's for you, bro.
Yeah.
This one here is for Lubs, the one without.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
We've got Lubs.
Thank you very much.
2 for me.
Nice. Yeah, so it was really...
So your role in Home was, you'd say, was your breakthrough role?
Yeah, so after doing lots of theatre and playing terrorists on screen, Home was the one... I got a call about it's around the time Katie Hopkins was calling them cockroaches and all this stuff, and it was so angry, and I had enough of not being given opportunities and struggling, and so I really had enough, and a couple things led to that, to me realizing that it was going to be very hard for me, and I got a call saying that they want you to come audition for a reading. First of all, a reading, you know, you just do the reading, but like to audition for the reading. Man, I said no, I'm not going to do it. And they were like, well, just read the thing. And I read it, and it was the pilot for the first step, and I was like, this is amazing. We've got an Arab on screen. He's not killing people. He's not getting killed. He's a nice guy. He's a refugee as well in this time. And I thought, I'm not going to get cast, because a month before the National Theatre called. This is just to show you what my career was like. The casting director for the National Theatre called my agent and said, we've got a part that the director wants to see you, so we don't think he's right for the part, but if he wants to come in on audition, you can audition. That's it. that kind of. And I was like, what? And that was for a teacher from Syria or from Iraq or something who was a refugee in the play. So I had it in my head, he's not right for a teacher. And Sammy in Home was a teacher from Syria. So I thought, so I'm not right for this. However, what this guy has written is so important. I want to go in there, I'll audition, and I just want to tell him I think he's great. And if he needs anything else, if there's like if he wants me to play the guy that drives him in the truck or something like that, I'll do that, which is what I used to do. And I went in there, and by all accounts, I understood the comedy, nailed the comedy, and alhamdulillah. And then the producer went, stand up for a second. I was like, oh, here we go. And, stand up, and I'm massive. And then he makes me stand next to the guy who wrote it, who's also in it, and he's much shorter. And he looked up, and they started like playing with the fact that I was massive, and it was good and funny. I was like, oh my God, actually, this went really well. And then I left, got the part, alhamdulillah. We did the little blap. They got the series. When they got the series, I emailed this guy, the writer, and I went, look, the channel are going to tell you to replace me for sure. When they do, you need to replace me because you need to make the show. And he just wrote back, you're my guy.
Wow.
MashaAllah.
Rufus Jones.
Wicked. I like that. Beautiful story. And is that the one where you was in the queue? That's the one. Was that the opening clip?
No. So that is a little clip they put online. Wallah al-Adim, more people have seen that clip than saw both seasons of the show put together. Which had like,
Sarah, that's where I first saw you. When I first saw that clip.
Everybody thinks I'm an internet comedian now because of those clips, which is very interesting to me.
Yeah,
it's a great because you always try and like see modulate where you are and how people are seeing you. Because of the amount of people that have seen those clips, that one and the one on the bus, they assume that those are skits made
right.
for thing. And for some reason, Channel 4 has not put the show on their 4OD,
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're using it to advertise the channel, but they're not actually putting the series. So people keep looking at these clips, thinking that there's going to be more clips somewhere, but they don't know that it's actually from home.
Sure.
And we were sitting there trying to desperate for another 10,000 views to get another series. Well, tabarakallah, they put it on Facebook. The next day, it had like 90 million views. The next day, 300 million. Oh, ghadi. Now it's had something like 900 million or something.
Wow.
Some crazy number.
That's numbers.
That's it's internet and Facebook.
Wow.
The bus one kills me every single time.
It's very funny, yeah.
The bus one's
It's good. It's great, right?
Yeah, go on.
Have you seen the bus?
Yeah, when he's translating.
That one, the woman who plays the racist in that one and the guy who plays the racist in the post office are the nicest people on the planet. Now, the whole world knows them as racist. But that one, Deborah, she always plays that kind of character. She's like salt of the earth.
Yeah, that was mad. When I first saw that, I was like, wow, like this thing's they're pushing boundaries now. Do you know what I mean? They're actually like this is really what's really happening,
They said they wrote how to deal with a racist. And it was right after Brexit,
Perfect timing, to be honest with you. And it's a good. I'm glad you wanted to, even if it wasn't you going to be in it.
Yeah,
I still wanted it to go.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, it was a great show, great experience. Everybody wants more. We want to do more, but like.
What if they've stopped commissioning it?
They stopped commissioning it. So
why is that then?
So that it didn't get enough audience. Great show. That people watch shows and consume media in a different way. This is what I remember you asked Ash about what his advice is for people in the industry, and I always give this advice, which is we always used to think of our career as a linear progression in the entertainment industry. Like the role you do, you got to do another role that's slightly better, and you got to climb up linearly. But people don't consume media in a linear fashion anymore. So somebody knows that Home is a great show, but they're going to watch it 2 years down the line. The number one show on Netflix that everybody's raving about, you might not have seen it yet. You're going to wait. You're going to watch it next year. But when it comes to that show's success, they look at how many people watched it last night, how many people watched it at the weekend, what are the weekend numbers. They still got an old, antiquated way of
it's all
viewing.
Stats on it. It's all stats for them.
It's all stats, and it's the old way. It's stats as if there's only a channel on TV.
There's multiple now.
They haven't moved with the times because, like you said, now we can put things on a list. We can watch them 3-4 months from now.
That's right.
But they're depending on opening night views.
That's right.
When it premieres.
It's much like the success of your show. You might look at views, how many people are watching, how many people are downloading it, but it's an illusion because there needs to be a different metric for whether a show is successful or not, or going to be successful. Like you might just have one episode that hits a kind of zeitgeist, that taps into something that everybody's talking about, which drives traffic to your site now all of a sudden, and then you become a passive view now, so another podcast they add to their list, and then it grows. But like, you might see not enough people viewing, and you might think to yourself, "Oh, I guess this isn't a success." It's not how it works anymore. It's the same thing with a TV show, same thing with a movie you put out. People are consuming it differently now. And if you want to be an actor and you want to progress in your career, don't worry about it. I was the lead, and then I played, and then I came on for a day, and then I do a part that's a bit more supporting, and then I do the lead again, and then I come in for the day. You know what I mean? You just take as much work as you can and be everywhere. No one's going to know that you did this small part after you did your leading role. They're not going to know it because they're going to watch it out of order. All that matters is that you're everywhere.
Get yourself out there.
Get yourself out there. You want people being like, I see you everywhere, man. You're doing brilliant. That's what you want, you know? That's how your career sort of progresses.
I think we needed to hear that as well, didn't we?
Yeah, 100%.
We needed that.
Don't trust your eyes for a little bit. You know, you have to. And I don't have the answer, and networks don't have the answer. If the smartest brains in TV don't know how to measure the success metrics of their show just yet, because everything is changing so fast, then you shouldn't be worrying about that.
It's true.
You know, you need to decide another way of deciding whether this is working or not. That goes beyond just views, because from one day to the next, you've got 100 million views all of a sudden. You're like, wow, how did that happen? You know,
Inshallah.
Yeah, things have changed. Before, you'd have to go to the cinema and watch a movie, and they'd be pumping this out months in advance on the buses everywhere, and we'd all go and watch it at the same time.
Yeah, and they're still trying to do that. Nobody's going to the cinema.
Nobody goes to cinema anymore.
We have too much choice now. We have too many options.
I think everything's because everything's just at the end of this bloody thing here.
It's true.
So people they've taken the halawa out of life. You know, the things that you'd go and do where now you'd think, oh, you know what, I'll just watch it on my phone.
I was in a and in my school, not my school where my brother works, somebody asked the students, 12 years old, 10 years old, how many of you have watched a film?
Zero. They watch YouTube.
30-second clips, that's all these kids are.
Clips, that's all. That scares me.
The attention time span is very short now.
Very short. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's concerning.
I
wanted to...
Sorry, I was just going to ask, is there any roles that you try and stay away from?
That was my question.
Is your question?
Well, it was about being typecast, because I know you mentioned it earlier in your career, and Ash did too. How do you avoid being typecast?
Okay. I've said this before in interviews, not interviews, but in workshops and stuff, so I sound like a broken record when I say this. I don't avoid being typecast.
Okay.
This industry is an oversaturated industry. I'm going to talk about the acting industry now, because a lot of people want to do it. A lot of people struggle. Friends of mine have taken their own life because they haven't been able to make it. It's because you don't become an actor despite all the competition and all the difficulty because you want a difficult life. You do it because you need to express something. Like there's a need to do it, and people struggle because they listen to other people in the media and all that stuff talking about typecasting and everything. For me, you want to be typecast.
Really?
Being typecast means you're working.
More work, innit? That's how it is, isn't it? It's khidma, innit? Yeah.
And that is the coefficient that defines you as a working professional. Are you working? Are you a working actor?
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, you might not like the fact that every time you get hired to play the Chinese cook or the Pakistani cab driver or the terrorist, right? I didn't work at all when I was trying to play Hamlet and I was trying to play all these people that my train. I've got 8 years of training with some of the best teachers in the world. I wasn't working at all. And then I grew my beard. I put Arabic music all over my showreel, and I played the big bearded Arab. That was it. And so the secret, the Americans say the riches are in the niches because they mispronounce niche. But you find a niche, you niche down as much as possible. Once you find that niche, you focus on that. And that's how you compete in an oversaturated market. We are, all of us, in a big warehouse trying to sell white T-shirts. We're in an Amazon warehouse selling white T-shirts. Everybody's selling a white T-shirt. That's what it's like being an actor. Everybody has the same product. Everybody is just as good as everybody else. So how do you get by? And I always use this analogy of the doors. They say you got to get your foot in the door. Yep. It's an industry where you're knocking at the door. But if you're Arab, if you're ethnic, especially if you're Moroccan, but if you're an ethnic, right, in name or culture or heritage, if they sniff that about you, then they're all going to be knocking on the door, and you're going to be at the bottom of a hill, scrambling up to get to the door. And by the time you get to the door, exhausted, all your clothes are dirty, you're sweaty, you've spent years trying to get there, and now you start knocking on the door, you see some white guy next to you going, it's tough, isn't it? Huh? Tough to break in. And you're like, man, I've been working this whole time just to get here. So how do you break through the door as an ethnic person? Everybody else is going tuk tuk tuk, and then you got to start going tuk 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 tuk, and then the door opens a crack.
Who's that? Who's that?
Good evening. Look at this exotic creature. And they're like, wow, who's this? And then they let you into the room. And now in that room, they want you to do that. But now you're in the room, and they're all out there knocking on the door. So now your typecasting has actually moved you a step further despite it being regressive. And next thing you know, you've got a little mold for yourself, which translates to work. You are now a professional working actor. And somehow, like magic, one day you break out of it and somebody goes, you'd make a great refugee. You're a comedic refugee. And Safi. And now I don't play terrorists anymore. That's all I used to play. You get your role, you break out of your mold, Safi. And no one notices that you're breaking out of your box. Because all they notice is, oh, this guy's, he's a working actor.
So you're saying embrace it, and then it will work for you. Absolutely.
There's a guy in America called Hector. He plays a Mexican called Hector in every movie, right? In every movie. Now, if he one day goes up to a network and says, I want to do a story about a Mexican actor who's trying to make it, do you think they're going to give him a chance? No. Think about it. He's known. He's famous.
Oh, him.
That guy. He has a creative idea for a sitcom that he wants to be in. He gets more opportunity now as a result of that. But he's played his whole life in a box. And if he wants to break out of it, very quickly he can do that. He just has to call the show Hector, and he's got his own show. You know what I'm saying? Like,
try and be yourself as much as you can, then, innit? Be as authentic as possible.
Try and be what they think you are.
Okay.
This is if you're an actor. If you want to do your business and you want to be congruent with yourself, if you want to be an actor, you've got to understand when you walk into the room, what do they see? And give them that times 10. And let them know that you're always available to give them that. Morocco has made a whole industry out of it. Marhaba, whatever.
Yes.
With Tarbouch and all that stuff. We don't dress like that, but we know that's what they want.
That's what they want, yeah.
And has Morocco done well because of it? 100%.
Absolutely.
So us over here, it's the exact same thing. So my advice to people is always be typecast. This business is too competitive, and it's overly saturated. There is enough talent. Everybody's talented. Everybody's a genius. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody has everything. So what do you do to stand out? Well, you've got it. You've got a difference, Safi.
Use it.
That's pretty good advice.
Yeah, that's the best advice.
TV or film? Sorry, what do you want to ask? Go on. If it's still relevant, then I can ask him the next question.
No, go ahead.
So would you prefer TV or film?
That's a good question.
Yeah, in general, as long as you're working.
I like working.
Yeah.
Just work.
I like working. People always ask stage or film, and stage is more rewarding as an actor. But film and TV, they pick you up in a Mercedes, they drop you off on set, they feed you, they take you in a Mercedes back home, and you make more money that day than you do in a week of theatre,
Right.
But between film and TV, I think
they're rewarding in different ways.
They're rewarding in different ways because بالحق, when I'm working, I don't necessarily feel the difference too much because I'm not the one making it per se. Film, you're working on the same story all every moment. With TV, you're bouncing around, and it can be a different story. I think I'm like a lot of people when we started in the industry, making movies and being highbrow and everything. We dismissed TV as this sort of thing. Film stars never did TV and all that stuff. And I think what's happening now...
It's changed, hasn't it?
It's changed a lot. And shows like Slow Horses, for example, with Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman is showing expert TV acting, And there is now a sort of worthiness in trying to be the best TV actor. So I think the answer is TV, because it's a bit harder for me and it's a bit more challenging, and I've done better out of TV than I have film. For my end.
Yeah, fair enough.
You've done a few voices for games as well, right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I do a lot of that.
Yeah.
You do a lot of voiceovers, yeah?
I do a lot of voiceovers. I do a lot of voice work. Voice work is like a parallel industry to the acting. It's still acting, but it's not. You're not.
It's physical.
You're on screen.
You're not on screen. It's just your voice, and that's my other advice to everybody: is to find yourself a lateral job on the side. So you can get a day job that's different, but ideally get a day job that's on the side, that's running parallel to your industry. That way, you're still kind of in the mix and stuff. And that's what I do there. And I've done a lot of voice games, video games, corporate stuff. Everybody should have this set up at home. Everybody should know about Pro Tools. Everybody should, in my opinion. Get a mic, get a good mic, learn how to do it, learn how to edit yourself, and then go online, find some Japanese company that's written its mission statement and translated it into English, and they want somebody to read it in English, and then that's your 200 quid. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a really great industry to get into.
Yeah, it's good notes.
Yeah.
You hear that? Yeah. There's some little gems there. Yeah,
right.
Little gems, man.
It's because everybody has something unique about their personality. Everybody has something unique about their physicality, and everybody has something unique about their voice. And find your little niche and then maximize it. Do you know what I mean? And for the video games, done a lot. Done a lot, and weirdly can't talk about a lot of stuff that I've that's coming out, but there's some good games coming out. Yeah. I can talk about the ones I have done. Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, you've done Assassin's Creed.
Valhalla. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm a whole bunch of different guys. And anytime you hear an Arab, there's some guy talking like this. That's me. Yeah. There's one that has just come out called Phoenix. It's like it's not Prince of Persia. It's something like I'll find out what it is. I'll let you guys know. I think it's Phoenix. Phoenix Rising Sun or something.
You have done Prince of Persia as well.
I did Prince of Persia as well. Yeah. I was one of his gang that's going around with him. Orod, that's his name. Yeah.
So you see, go on. Have you got something you want to say?
Go on.
I was going to ask you about this. I see this new BBC donkey Hamara. What's that all about?
What is it?
It's a new. It's Fetih. With Fetih in it. Yeah. Yusuf plays the uncle in it. I know it's only a little thing that they tried.
It's a little like a pilot.
Yeah.
For a show. I think she's great, man. She's awesome. And
is she the writer of that? Is she?
She wrote it with a writer, friend of hers, and they wrote a sitcom for her to do, produced by Big Tom Davis.
Okay.
Do you know him? The big, he's really, really tall.
The comedian.
Yeah. So
the school teacher.
He produced it for her. Lemshiwo.
Okay.
Is he a school teacher? No. Not the one from In Betweeners.
No, Tom Davis with Ricky Gervais and no.
مشيوه.
We're both
هذا واحد اخر طويل بزاف. He's got a gap in his teeth and he wears rim glasses. He used to have a show called Murder in Successville, I think it was called. Was it Murder in Successville? Anyway, he's very, very funny and a lovely, lovely guy, and he produced it for her to try and give her this opportunity. And they called me up and they were like, look, it's a small part, would you be willing to do it? I'm like, absolutely. Because after the earthquake, she raised a lot of money.
Yeah, mashallah. Yeah, big you up.
I was like, oh my God, who's she? Like, well, her. So we just kept in touch, and I know Tom a little bit, and he just said, listen, would you mind? And I was like, yeah, no problem.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
It was nice to see something. For us, it's different. Growing up, we've never seen anything like that. And then all of a sudden, she starts breaking out into this Moroccan. I thought, what?
That's it, yeah.
And then Yusuf appeared in it, and then her mum's in it, and it's like, oh, this is brilliant, man.
I
can't wait for them to kind of
in the market for like
100%. Yeah, 100. We're funny people, man.
Super funny.
Do you know what I'm saying? We've got mad talent, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope they commission it for her.
I hope so too. Yeah.
Inshallah, I hope they commission it, man, because it was really
what I
funny.
thought was brilliant. House of Gucci.
Yeah.
That's your
favorite.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Yeah, let's get into about it.
Cool.
Can we talk about that? How was it working with Ridley Scott? And
amazing.
Let us know about that project.
Sure. Alhamdulillah, I got this after I got the BAFTA nomination. Alhamdulillah, but in that same year, I got something called the BAFTA Breakthrough, and in that it's like a year-long mentorship program, and they select. You get it's really great to get selected for it and stuff, and. You get in this little group, they select 2 actors, 2 directors, 2 this and that. And they ask you, who do you want to meet? Who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to be your mentor or whatever? And I said, Ridley Scott.
Wow.
You know, I just said because I really, even though he's a director, I want what he's got to say. Of course, he didn't get it. But then a month later, I got this audition.
Wow.
I was like, oh.